and welcome to another Let's Draw tutorial with Procreate. We will be completing this 50s inspired night scene and we'll be animating the lights so they flicker as well. I've created a colour palette and stamp set for you to download. You will find the link in the description below. You will need a canvas size of 2000 by 2300 pixels at 300 dpi. And when you're ready, let's draw. Once you've created your canvas, we are going to the first colour in the colour palette. We are going to drag and drop that colour in. We are then going to choose the second colour in the colour palette, and we can just zoom out a little bit so you've got some room around your canvas. We are going to go to the selection tool with rectangle and colour fill turned on. We are just going to drop in some colour at the bottom. Tap the S-shaped ribbon when you're done. We are then going to choose the third colour in the colour palette, go to our S-shaped ribbon, rectangle and colour fill turned on. We are then going to drop some colour in at the top and then hit the S-shaped ribbon when you're done. We are then going to go to our magic wand tool. We're going to select Gaussian blur and we are going to slide to the right with your pen till we get to the 40% mark. And then tap when you are done. We are going to create a new layer. We're going to choose this colour here in the colour palette, the fourth colour along. We are going to go to our stamp set and we're going to choose building 1 at 70% in size, and then we're just going to tap on our canvas. We are then going to go to our arrow tool in the uniform option, and then we're just going to move that over to the right till you get something like that. We are then going to create a new layer. We are going to choose building 2 and the size is at 60%. We're just going to tap on the canvas. We're going to go to our arrow tool with uniform option still selected, and we are going to move it over to the left like that. And hit the arrow tool when you're done. We are then going to create a new layer. We are going to go to our monoline brush, and I've got the size here at 5%. We're just going to make a swoop across the canvas, and that will be our wire. We are then going to create a new layer. We are going to choose the Sitting Dancer silhouette, and I've got this size at around 20%. I'm just going to tap on our canvas and then we can go to our arrow tool in uniform mode and just move her down a little bit. And we can place her in the center like that. We are then going to go back to layer 1. We're going to create a new layer. We are going to reduce the opacity down to around 20%. We are then going to our stamp set and we're going to choose building 3. And I've got this size at around 70%. We're going to just tap in the screen. And then we're just going to move it so it sits something like that. We are then going to go to our magic wand tool, Gaussian blur, and we're going to slide with our pencil to the right till we get to around the 7% blur. We are then going to go to the very top layer and create a new layer. We are going to choose this colour here in the colour palette. We're going to go to our stamp set and we're going to choose the dots stamp, and I've got my size here around 4%. You can just zoom in a little bit and we are going to drop in our light bulbs. I've made guides, so you can just drop in a pink light bulb onto those guides. Until you've got something like that, and then you can zoom out again. I'm going to duplicate this layer and then just turn that off for now, that top one. We're going to need that later on when we make our animation. We are then going to create a new layer and just drag that underneath. We're going to choose this colour here in the colour palette. going to go to our stamp set and choose the diner word. And I've got this size at around 10%. I'm just going to tap on the screen, and then with our arrow tool, just move it over into our sign. And then you can actually tilt it into a position that you like. We are then going to duplicate this layer twice. So you've got 3. The top one, we're going to alpha lock it, and we're going to choose this color here in the color palette. And we're going to fill that layer. We are then going to go to the bottom one. We can actually move our canvas to the side so we can actually see what we're doing. And we're going to change that blending mode to add. We're going to go to our magic wand tool, Gaussian blur, and blur that out to around 8%. We are then going to go to this layer and change that blending mode to add. We're going to go to our magic wand tool, Gaussian blur, and blur that out to around 4%. And then we can go to this layer here, the top one in white, and we can actually change that blending mode to add as well. And then when you're happy with your diner word, we can then merge those together. We are then going to create a new layer. And with that white selected, we're going to choose our crescent moon stamp. And I've got the size here at 50%. We can then move our canvas over so we can see it. We can tap on the screen like that. I'm just going to move it over to the right just a little bit. And then we're going to duplicate this layer. The bottom one, we're going to our magic wand tool and Gaussian blur. And we're going to slide to the right with our pen till we get to about 8%. We can then pinch those 2 layers together and create a new layer. We are then going to go to our retro style star stamp. And I've got the size here at 1%, and we're just going to drop in some stars on our canvas and then bring it up to maybe 3% and drop in a couple of few bigger ones like that. We are then going to duplicate that layer, the bottom one. We're going to our magic wand tool, Gaussian blur, and we can blur that out till we get to around 5%. And then we can actually merge those together. And in fact, we can actually merge the moon and the stars together as well. Our illustration is actually now complete. We're just going to now go in and animate these light bulbs and make them flash. We are going to want to go into our layers, and we are going to merge all of these layers together, not this top one. So we can actually pinch those together. We can turn this one on, tap on it and alpha lock, and then we can actually fill it in with white for the moment. We are then going to our wrench tool, canvas, animation assist, and we're going to just tap here so we can see our illustration. We're going to tap on it again, and we are going to choose the option of background. We are then going to go to this layer here and duplicate it. Turn the top one off for a moment. Go to this one here. We are going to remove the alpha lock, and we can actually just zoom in a little bit so we can see what we're doing. We are going to erase every other bulb, but you just need to make a note of where you start from. So with our eraser selected with monoline brush, fairly big size, I'd say about 70%. I'm going to start with this one here and then erase every other bulb like that. We are then going to duplicate this layer twice. We're going to go to the bottom one. we're going to change the blending mode to add. And we are going to go to our magic wand tool. We're going to select Gaussian blur and blur that out to around 8%. We're going to go to this one. We are going to change the blending mode to add as well. And then we're going to Gaussian blur to around 4%. We are then going to go to this layer here. We're going to tap on it and alpha lock it. We're going to go to our color palette, choose this color here, and then we're going to fill that layer and change its blending mode to add as well. We're then going to pinch those together. We're going to go to this layer here and toggle it so it's turned on. We are going to remove the alpha lock, and with our eraser tool selected under the monoline brush, we are now going to start from this one here and then erase every other bulb. We are then going to duplicate this twice. We can actually alpha lock that top one and fill that layer. We are going to change that blending mode to add. We're going to go to the very bottom one of those three, and we're going to change the blending mode to add. We're going to Gaussian blur to 8%. We're going to change the blending mode to this one to add, and we're going to Gaussian blur this one to 4%. And then we can merge those together as well. Now, if you hit play, you can see that they are flashing, but that's way too fast. So we're going to select settings, and here under frames per second, we're just going to bring that down to around 4 frames per second. We're going to zoom out just a little bit. What we want to do, because we want to make this video longer, we just need to add some more of these layers onto our canvas. We're going to select both of those, hold your pen down and just drag it onto the canvas, and then you've just duplicated those layers. We're going to do that again, so select all of those, not your background, this one here where the illustration is, not that one, just these lights. And we are going to drag, whoops, we're going to drag that onto the canvas, and we're going to do it again and drag that onto the canvas, and let's just do it one more time. Hold your pen and then drag onto the canvas. I'm just going to go in and change the settings to ping pong, and then if you press play, you've got your animation now complete. Now, if you want to share this onto Instagram or any other social media site, you can just go to your wrench tool, select share, and we're going to select it as an animated MP4. And then I'm just going to bring this frames per second down to 3. And then you just select export and then save as a video, and that will save in your picture gallery. Thank you so much for following till the end. I hope you had fun with this one. I would love to see your finished artwork over on Instagram. I'll leave my IG account in the description below, so please come and tag me in and I'll share it to my stories. Thanks once again and stay safe until next time. Bye.